Hello, thank you for joining us today for our conversations that's part of the Festival for Good 2020, which is Asia's largest celebration of social enterprises and the social impact that they create. This year, we had over 130 social enterprises that were showcased throughout the month-long festival across 5 different features. And the Festival for Good 2020 is brought to you by the Singapore Centre for Social Enterprise, RACE, in partnership with DBS Foundation, South Beach Consortium, as the virtual venue partner. So welcome to those who are watching on our website. We encourage those from the website to hop over to Zoom for a more interactive experience with our panelists. And there's also a Q&A function and a segment that we can hear your questions. So please send us your questions as we are having the conversation, and we will have some time to let our panelists answer your questions as well. If you have any difficulties, also message us and our team will get back to you as well. So once again, welcome everyone to the panel on Envisioning a Different Future When Aging Isn't Aging. My name is Erwin and I'm from RACE, and I will be hosting today's conversation with our distinguished panelists who are part of our social enterprise scene. So the first person that we have is Joanne Tan. Joanne Tan is the Director and Marketing Communications for Aging Asia, which is the first aging market social enterprise. And she leads the marketing communications team, and they are responsible for content marketing and media activities for the company, not only locally, but also globally. And she is also the editor of the Aging Asia Alliance Journal, which is an in-house e-magazine that provides updates on the latest trends and happenings all around aging. So they know what's the buzz around aging, definitely. And right across to my left is Cassandra Sia. She's the founder and CEO of Generation Connect, and they develop solutions for seniors and healthcare institutions to empower, enrich, and ease the lives of seniors. She's also currently pursuing her PhD as a President PhD scholar at Imperial College. So it's really great to catch her at this time as well. And she has also gained many multiple global accolades for her work as well. And lastly, we have Mr. Isaiah Chung, who is right there. I don't know, how do I point to you? Hi, Isaiah. He's the Director of ProAge, and he's joining us on Zoom. Isaiah is a seasoned social entrepreneur. He's also a clinical exercise physiologist and a well-being strategist. His company, ProAge, is a health consultancy with a heart and consults regularly for global corporations and government agencies. He's also been honored with the President's Challenge Social Enterprise Award, and also one of the 10 Outstanding Young Person Award in Singapore as well. So welcome, panelists. We're so excited to have you here with us, and I do hope that we're going to have a great conversation, and also for our audience, there'll be something great for you to take away, little nuggets or truth, and little things to push your thinking a bit more on how to see aging differently. And why do we talk about aging differently? It's because we always have a traditional mindset where, you know, the solutions that we come with are just fixed, right? So a lot of our social entrepreneurs here have actually broke that mold, right? They've actually learned to explore, right, different ways to engage and to build things for our seniors as well. And they challenge the current mindset of what we have for aging. So today, what we want to hear from them is really what are some of the considerations that they took to innovate innovative and inclusive products and services so that we can have healthy practices and empowerment for the elderly. You know, today we're not only saying, you know, we should have a long lifespan, we need to have a long health span. So we want to hear about that, and we want to hear how today also utilize a more human-centered approach, right, to redefine and reimagine a different kind of aging. All right, so I'm going to allow Joanne maybe to start off to share a bit more about yourself and your SE, and we'll start with there and along with the other panelists as well. So Joanne, tell us a bit more about yourself.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Erwin for the great introduction and also for Race to have myself and my SE Aging Asia at this very fabulous festival. This is actually our first time participating in the Festival for Good, so we're really looking forward to the many exciting opportunities and interactions that we can have with fellow SEs. So who is Aging Asia? Aging Asia, we are actually an independent network on the business of aging. So we are we are considered, I would say, the first social enterprise in Asia that actually looks at all the business opportunities, socio-economic opportunities in the aging space, not just in Singapore, but also in Asia Pacific.
Right.
So our network spans across globally, and the works that we do centers a lot on how we can propagate the right messaging about aging, about showing people that there is there are a lot of opportunities out there for the aging sector, and that how should we see aging and redefine aging, like rightfully how Erwin had said, because that's what we want to do. So for myself, at Aging Asia, I look after the marketing and communications activities, sharing with all our members, to the media, to the public, about all the wonderful works that the aging innovators, the community, the ecosystem is bringing forth to the aging sector, to the rising aging population. So how we could bring together all the right partners to build this strong ecosystem is what Aging Asia wants to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. How about Cassandra? Maybe a bit more about yourself and your SE's background?
So for me, I am Cassandra, the founder of Gen Connects. For us, we actually focus a lot on creating products and solutions for seniors with dementia. I personally started this because of my grandpa. He actually forgot how to come home, and at a point of time, it was quite serious because it was a place that he has lived in like most of his life, 50 years, right? So how could he actually forget? So that was my first kind of like touch with dementia, and it kind of started the journey towards creating all of these solutions, not only for him, but also people in Singapore. So we have made a range of products from tabletop games to large rehabilitative installations, mostly for nursing homes, hospitals, and care centers. At the same time, we also develop solutions like dementia assessments to kind of like identify, which stage of dementia the senior is at, or whether they might have dementia at all, so that we can actually get them to the right service providers and to provide appropriate care. I think for Gen Connects, we are very steeped in research because we do believe a lot in evidence-based solutions. A lot of the interventions out there sometimes do not have like studies that are done or studies that are very robust. So it is very crucial to have solutions like this that not only has a scientific perspective, but also has a social component. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Cassandra. Now over to Isaiah. A little bit more about yourself for our audience.
So my name is Isaiah. As Edwin has mentioned, in terms of my occupational hazards of being an exercise physiologist, staying healthy and fit. But at the end of the day, for me, my heart is just really to love every senior that's out there and to be able to enable people at 20, 30, 40 years old prepare to age well. So at the end of the day, it's really what you do today, it's going to impact how you will be when you grow old. And I think through our work with using science and programs, we design and develop different programs so we can deliver it on the ground with organizations and government. End of the day really is to enable how people can live longer and healthier. So I mean, that's my passion. I've been doing this for the last 13, 14 years. And basically my team has been at this, so glad to be here today to just share and give my inputs with other lovely two ladies. Thank you.
Yeah, we wish you were here with us in the studio. Maybe just before we start, right? Maybe for all of you, let's define this. How old do you all consider seniors as seniors?
Well, I mean, like, if you talk about like the age like 65 and above, it might be considered seniors. But I mean, personally, for me, I always look at seniors as not seniors under that category. I think there's a lot of things that people who are at an older age have preferences for, but often they categorize to a certain category in terms of like likes and dislikes. So I try to actually keep it broad, not
Okay.
have like a number to fix.
You don't have a number. Okay, but you think 65 is definitely qualifies 100% as senior?
100%. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. How about you, Joanne? Is there a number that you take as senior?
Well, I think like what Cassandra said, we don't have a definite answer to being called senior. Well, in the first place, I think I would like to share that at Aging Asia, we don't call seniors.
Ah.
We don't call them old people.
Oh.
So we actually call them older adults, older persons,
Older adults.
active ages. So recently we had a conversation with some of the elders who are over 70s at our own discussion. And surprisingly, they don't really think that they are old. And they don't like to be called seniors. They don't like to be called older people. They don't like to be called elderly. So they actually call themselves the new young. So that is such a very, invigorating, I guess, perspective to us, because these are the group of baby boomers that will actually lead the change in how we define aging in terms of products, in terms of services, in terms of their needs. So this group of new young, or what we call older adults, they have a very different mindsets from the or rather our grandparents' generation, or my grandparents' generation. So they are looking at something that is more definitive in how to support them well, age in place, towards their beautiful years ahead of them. So I would think that that is not a definite age in terms of aging. It's how you perceive your life, how you want to manage and control your lifestyle. So active aging, healthy aging, dignified aging, this is all what they are looking for.
Okay, thank you. How about Isaiah? Do you agree with our two lovely ladies here?
Yeah,
Or
I
you
think
have your own number in mind?
It's a loaded question. It depends on how you look at it. Yeah, because ageism is driven by numbers, right?
Okay.
And so I think for me, depends on the context and purpose, right? If you're looking at giving a passion card, giving a senior citizen concession, then you need to have a fixed number to look at it, CPF, etc. But if you're looking at, as what Joanne mentioned just now about mindset, how old you think you are. So to me, that really doesn't really matter, because end of the day, solutions are solutions, and how you want to age is how you want to age. So it's who you think you are and what you want to pursue. So to me, that's about being ageless. End of the day, 90-year-old can work. I mean, I have an 80-year-old working in my organization. He's still going, and I think he can work till he drops. Yeah, and he enjoys it, right? He enjoys going to the sessions, enjoying helping people with exercise and getting healthier. So that to me is I tend not to want to put age on it. And of course, from the biological standpoint, then you have age as well. How you age biologically. So yes, depends on context and what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. I think you hit it right on the nail, that it's our systemic structures that define some of these age for us, and that's the part that puts it as a mindset for us. And I love what you two are saying, that we shouldn't let that be the cutting line. Like once you're 49, you cross 50, you're on the silver boat. Go for a long cruise and go for all your senior discounts, that kind of thing as well.
Actually, I mean, sorry to butt you, but I'm not sure if you guys have seen this feature documentary that was done by one of our media organization. I don't know if I can say the name. Yeah, but they did a documentary to showcase how younger generation, they perceive old people. So a lot of them actually think that old people is like 60 plus. And these are the early teens and the early 20s. So I was actually in the studio when they did this documentary. And I was, I guess, surprised at the reactions by the younger generation of how they perceive old. So they think that someone who's 60 plus is old, feeble, walks slow with a walking stick.
Yep.
So, and then that's when the documentary introduces the current older adults, which are people over 60s. They are like strong feet. They can dance. So one of our members, or rather our trainer, is an over 60 gentleman. He could do plank much longer than the younger counterpart. So that's how I think media should should be doing as well to change that perception about what old is, to redefine aging, to redefine this I guess, connotation of who the older people should be.
Yes, yes, that's true. Well, even now, you can be pretty old and still run for president as well. All right, so thank you. I think this really leads us to the first kind of thought that I wanted to hear from you guys. Is really what is that vision of aging that you guys aspire to work towards, and really what and how you or your social enterprise is working towards it at this moment.
Oh,
good. Yep. Thanks, Cassandra.
Okay, so I think how we actually develop all of these solutions has to cater to seniors' needs and wants, right? A lot of the times, especially when it comes from a product perspective, we always see like certain categories catered to seniors, and there's a stigma of like what they're able to do, what they're not able to do, and there is like just a range of variety of products that are just limited to this kind of perceptions. But I think within the current years, things have been starting to change. So you start to see like new interventions coming in. You have like elderly dating, which is really cool, and I really like
elderly dating.
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think these are quite common in like the Western societies. I mean, as I do my studies in the UK, also I see things that are more open, and I start to see these coming into like places like in Singapore, and people are starting to open up. So I think it's very great that the mindset is starting to shift. We are starting to recognize that you don't categorize seniors into one category. I mean, like when we look at youth, for example, we don't categorize youth to be like a certain kind of category. They have many likes, many dislikes, and we cater to meet their needs, right? And I start to see more innovation and products coming into the senior sector to cater to these needs.
Yep.
So I think that's something that's really great and kind of changing. Yeah.
Nice. So is there a particular way that your team kind of approaches that mindset when they work with seniors or think of products and solutions for seniors?
Yeah, so I think for us at this point, what we have been doing mostly is from the B2B sector, right? Okay. Because I think Singapore being a little bit more conservative, we have most of the seniors actually in the senior setting. Mm-hmm. What we do is we provide solutions for them, and then as we started working on this, we realized that, actually we should have all of these tools cater to meet varying needs and wants, right? So we started to tweak our solutions a little bit. We do much more user feedback. We get a lot of seniors, we talk to them, we talk to their family members, and then we cater our solutions to meet these needs. So, I mean, we also went through initially when we first started, this is something I could do for seniors, but then as you start to engage more with them, I think that's something that's very important, talking to them, understanding from their perspectives, and then you start to realize that, these are things that they like, these are things that they don't like, how can you actually meet these needs? I think the relationship that you actually build with the seniors also helps to create solutions that are more suitable for them, and for you to also frame your own mindset to meet these needs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like what you said, is to talk to them, and I think sometimes that's the challenge. We assume certain things and then we just kind of make it for them, right? But talking to them, I think that brings out, the real needs.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of things you can learn from seniors. I think for me, I'm 26 this year. So there's a lot
I think you're the youngest. But anyway.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that I actually learned from seniors, and I really enjoy that engagement with them. Sometimes, it feels like you're talking to your akong and your ama, right? But there is so much perspective that you can get from their years of, experiences. And then I feel very honored to be able to create solutions like that. And, it's a learning for both sides, I would say. Yeah.
Nice. Great. Thanks for sharing about that. Maybe Joanne or Isaiah, you have any thing to share from your side? How do you guys are doing it differently?
Isaiah, you want to go first? Or?
Sure.
Yeah, Isaiah.
For us, the approach is looking at what's strategic and in terms of for the individual and as well as our country. So for us, we look at science as a life course. So everyone goes through life, right, and go through different ages. So we look at what we can do at each different stage of life. So give you an example. If you're in a company, you're starting out at 30 plus in organization, climbing up the corporate ladder. If your health is bad right now, you have cholesterol, you have different kind of condition, diabetes, etc. That's going to impact your long-term risk, right? So with diabetes at 60, at 65, chances are dementia is very close. You're going to get mild impairment. So these are things that we hope to mitigate when people are young, and slowly work it on. And we have interventions and programs, and so we work with different stakeholders. For example, one thing we're working right now is with Active SG. So we are doing gym orientations for seniors. We're doing online programs for seniors. So that's grassroots level, 65 and above, targeting this group of people who, as Joanna mentioned just now, shouldn't be frail, shouldn't be holding on the walking stick. And yeah, even at 85 years old, you shouldn't be in a wheelchair. You should, unless you have a tragic accident, your spinal cord is severe, etc., in a wheelchair. But just because you are frail, you're on a wheelchair, something's wrong, right? And we have shown that we can reverse that, and we have done a lot of research, even with NUS and different organizations, to show locally that we can reverse these things. So putting that science out there, undergirding that with strategic roadmaps initiatives, and just really reaching to those individuals that we can really help. And so for us in Pro Age, is always stopping for that one, reaching out to that one and transforming their lives. And I mean that's where our name comes up, Pro and Age. Yeah, we want really aging to be really good. Yeah.
Nice, thanks Isaiah. Joanne, how about your side?
Okay, so for Aging Asia, we look at the more macro side of things. We look at the aging market potential, the different innovations that could help to support the aging community. So we have came across a lot of very interesting global inventions, innovations, first-time launches, all with a very common aim to want to support the older people to age well, and then to support them in their wellness and well-being. So we have done a lot of research ourselves. So in fact, we have our report, the Silver Economy Business Opportunities Report, that was launched in August this year, and we did some tabulation that by 2025, the Asia Pacific aging market potential is projected to be US 4.56 trillion.
Trillion?
So that, yes, trillion, the Asia
big.
Pacific. And I can share a little bit. I don't think my boss was going. No, she won't. She's fine with my sharing. But Singapore itself, the aging market is, we're looking at about 72 billion.
Wow.
Yes. So this is by 2025. I mean, we did our last projection in 2015. So by 2020, it was 3.3 trillion USD. So in the next 5 years, we're looking at a very huge, a huge difference, and I think this is where we are trying to show that there is a lot of social economic opportunities out there for the aging demographics. In US, in Europe, the retailers, the marketers, the market itself, the ecosystem is already seeing the aging demographics as a very important part of their marketing strategies, their company strategies, their product innovations. So I think Asia is trailblazing right now. Compared to, 8-9 years when I first joined Aging Asia, compared to now, we are really seeing a lot of very great innovations, a lot of business ideas, a lot of sustainable and successful senior living models, communities coming up. So what we hope is to bring all this ecosystem together and then to share more about what the aging market has to offer. Yeah.
Nice, interesting. So Joanne, you're in communications in your role, right? What's the best way to communicate this idea that we need to, change that mindset of seniors? We know there's big opportunities, so people may want to come in, but to others and maybe even the seniors themselves, how do you think the best way to communicate a different kind of aging to them?
I think it's really more of putting the right messages across, putting the correct messages across. And being, doing marketing comms for Aging Asia for the past 9 years, what we have seen is really putting people first, understanding their needs, understanding our members' needs, our partners' needs, the users' needs, which is the active agers' need. What are they really looking out for during this period, and what are the different, I would say, products, innovations that they want to. So putting out the right messages is very important. And of course, your message has got to be genuine. I mean, I don't put up a fluff message just to promote something, but it has to have a factual, basis on that, because everybody wants to know what is the right choice for them. So, like for example, we have our own over 60s, or rather over 50s members at our sister company Aspire 55. So we talk to them, like what Cassandra and Isaiah said, talking to the users themselves. You connect well with them, you know their needs, and that's when you can come up with the right products, come up with the right solution. And for me, it's coming up with the right messages for them. So they all want to be equipped with the right messages, the right knowledge, so that they can then age better themselves.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's interesting. You know, again, you're reiterating the point of talking to the users, which are the older adults themselves. You know, one thing I also want to bring out is that being a social enterprise is also about creating some sort of economic opportunity here as well. So the users may not always be the customers. So my thought is, Isaiah, you've done a lot of work engaging a lot of people to kind of buy into certain solutions, certain programs. How do you really talk to the customers to get some of these solutions on board for their seniors or older adults?
Okay, so when you mention solutions, you're saying seniors buying it or organizations
well,
buying
that's what I'm saying. It's not always the seniors buying it. So sometimes it's the corporations or the institutes that may buy the program, right? They are the customers.
Got it.
What's the challenge, right, to implement some of these programs that you've run quite a lot of yourself?
Yeah. So I think largely from the organization standpoint, there's government. I mean, government straightforward. I mean, they've been championing active aging since about 07, 08 till now. And that one quite straightforward.
So go to the government first, is it?
So before we started, largely we registered because we needed to transact with the government as a consultant. So working with government, just really aligning to see how can we help our citizens really age well. And I think that's what we're doing to convince. I think the convincing thing we do mostly is with organizations, because at the end of the day, businesses, they are all about bottom line. And how do we then say, hey, look at the well-being of all your employees, but then take a special note to your mature workers, right? How do you enable work longevity? So at the end of the day, it's like all businesses, right? It's about the needs on the ground, and businesses need workers. Businesses need people to perform. Businesses need people to generate ideas and roll on. And I think that's how we have always been pitching it. That health and well-being is essential. You need a healthy, productive workforce to move forward. And the workforce is shrinking with less foreign talent coming in. Thereby, you need to leverage not only on grants from the government to hire older people, but make full use of and reskill and really work on the people that you currently have. So how do you repurpose them? Can they still work at 70 years old? And I think different organizations have slowly kind of put away their retirement ages and continue engaging the seniors. So I mean, for us, even recently, we just pushed out a training program called Prime, because we believe that your prime is in your 60s, and that's where you can contribute the most impact. And so we are getting organizations to support this whole movement of looking at getting your employees to be at their prime, rediscovering their talents, just focusing on how they can do their jobs better, and then kind of safeguarding their health so that they can work maybe for the next 10, 20 years. So I think that's what we're looking at.
Right. So definitely sharing them, the value of keeping their seniors engaged and involved. Thanks, Isaiah. Maybe Cassandra, there's a question here that I thought, is just nice that we're talking about products and services for seniors. The question is, in recent days, we bring in a bit more tech into our products and services. Do you have experience in that? And how do you think the older adults kind of take to these tech stuff?
Okay, I think when it comes to tech, right, you have to cater to suit the seniors' capabilities. I mean, of course, they can learn. You need to set up infrastructure for them to actually pick up on it. So it depends on which audiences you're actually working with. If you're working with seniors who are like 80, 90 years old, then you need to cater the solution a little bit differently to kind of meet their needs. Then you need to have people to be able to train them as well, to teach them how to use it. For me, I have had the most experience with seniors with dementia. So sometimes you will actually need a little bit more repetition, or kind of like have different events like during each quarter, for example, so that you can refresh their memory. Then if you're dealing with like people at maybe 60, 70 years old, you don't really need as much as compared to the different groups. So I think it really boils down to exactly which target audiences you're looking at, and then how can you make it easy for them to pick up the solution? How can you make it accessible for them to be able to have these tools available to them? And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Can I just pitch in as well?
Yeah, sure, Isaiah.
From the tech perspective.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm on the board of a charity called Empower Aging, and I think we have been engaging seniors for many years. And last year December we got them on board WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. And lo and behold, we had COVID, right? So I think COVID was really a turning point, because during those times, circuit breaker, we had seniors calling us up and crying on the phone, and because they are alone, they don't know what to do, right? And I think that's where, and also at the same time, many seniors have gone onto tech. They have managed to get on the handphones. We managed to get helpers to help seniors log on. So we are engaging seniors on a daily basis right now, daily basis. So you talk about exercise, engagement, etc. It has to be daily. And for us is, how do we elevate isolation, again, be healthy. And our oldest participant is 98 years old using tech.
98, do you say?
Yeah, 98 years old. Yeah, so I think for seniors, it's how do you, as Cassandra mentioned, how do you make it accessible, how do you make it easy and appealing, so that they have a reason to use tech? Because you have reason to use tech, right? Me and my friends pay for stuff. Seniors, not too sure. So that's where you need to create reasons for them to be able to use tech. And I am glad to report that I think COVID has really pushed them, forced them to really use tech for social reasons, engagement reasons, or even buying stuff, right? And maybe even visiting a doctor. So they saw that, and I think tech is going to be a great safety net. If COVID will happen again, because tech is going to help us to keep in touch with older adults out there, especially those who are living alone. And I think the challenge right now is infrastructure. How do we have mobile connectivity? It's not a device, it's a connectivity. Yeah, so any government people watching this, so I think connectivity is the key. Like having constant Wi-Fi for seniors, so that they can get access to whatever that we hope to push to them.
There's this initiative. There's this initiative by Singtel, because I just finished the Singtel Futures program with them, right? And they have this sustainability approach, where they actually go down to the seniors, then they will actually provide them with like $5 plan. I think it's unlimited Wi-Fi. $5, and it's unlimited Wi-Fi. So after that, no need do they provide that. They go down, they will actually share with the seniors on how to use. So like one of the sustainability managers was saying that he will go down every week, and then he will teach the senior, okay, how to use YouTube, how to search for your T on Obe Lo Ho song, and then you have access to all of these traditional songs that they would be able to kind of relate with very well. So he had all these seniors coming in, how to search for this particular song, and then they learn and then they start to use it. And I think these are really great initiatives that Singtel, I think there's a few more other tele companies that are also doing this, to get the seniors on board lah. So. Yeah.
Nice. I think one thing I'm hearing is that our seniors or older people market, right, is not homogeneous. It's just so diverse out there, and the opportunities that for social enterprises to find areas to work on or people to work with, groups, is so much out there as well. So I just wanted to hear as well, are there some so-called success stories from your side that you may want to highlight and share, in terms of the work that you have done, in terms of a particular project that you felt really connected to, that you've seen, and really kind of clicked it for you during your journey as a social enterprise or social entrepreneur? Is there anything? Go ahead, anyone.
Okay, maybe I can share some of the works that we have came across. I think recently we came across this new radio app. They happen to be founded by radio personalities from Singapore. So they are also our one of our media partner at our own Aging Festival right now. So they chance upon, or rather they they responded to a message by one of our key leaders, and then they came up with this curated radio app that does radio music streaming online for older adults during this COVID period, because during this COVID period we are really restricted, and it's not just us who are very much impacted, but the older adults are actually one of the most vulnerable groups during this period. So, and a lot of them, I know you know what they say, that music is to your soul, your heart. So this group of people, really very renowned radio personalities in Singapore, they came up with this very cool radio app that has very curated information, like even to if you fall down, who should you call? If you, let's say, needs help with caregiving, who should you reach out to? And then, of course, they have very nice songs catered to the generation. So it's where I'm seeing is that during this period, even though there are a lot of challenges, but a lot of, innovation, a lot of people have actually stepped up to create the right products and solutions, services for the older adults during this period. So where we are seeing is that the ecosystem is the community is coming up, and that they are seeing that there are a lot of, opportunities out there to reach out to the older adults in the right way. And I think for Aging Asia ourselves, we observe that there is actually care technologies, the curve for the adoption of care technologies, be it for the sector itself, be it for even the older adults themselves, is actually rising. So we are seeing some opportunities and positivity out of this pandemic as well, which is, I guess, a good thing.
The silver lining
Yes.
in this whole thing.
Talking about music, I have seen seniors that I've been interacting with, right, more towards the moderate towards severe stage of dementia. They can't really communicate with you that well, but then after that, when you play traditional music, then they start to sing all the lyrics. And I think that was one of my earlier experiences that I thought were really very interesting, because it kind of brought them back to life to be able to verbalize and to be able to express themselves. And yeah, other things that I've also experienced was when we also provide some of the rehab tools for nursing homes and hospitals, right? So in one particular instance, in a daycare center, they were actually using all of these different nostalgic items as part of a rehab activity. We get them to actually stretch and bend, use their multi-sensory skills as well as motor and cognitive skills, right? But during this process, right, these seniors were actually sharing with the occupational therapists as well as the nurses about all of the items in the past, and also, what their names were called in Hokkien and what they were called in different languages. And then the staff, who were actually mostly from the Philippines, were learning from them. So the roles were reversed. Instead of the seniors always receiving and kind of being in a passive role, they kind of switched over. And I thought that was very empowering. And I think this was some of the feedback that we have also gotten from the staff on the ground. So I think this kind of it's very heartening to hear, and it motivates you to move further.
Yeah. Just now you were talking about music stuff. I remember there's this Facebook video where they played this classical music to this this lady
is it
with
the
dementia, the
Alzheimer's
ballerina. And suddenly the music playing, her hands and motion were going. And suddenly that image came into my mind when you guys were talking about.
Was it the Swan Lake one?
Yeah. And then you could see the movement, and it's just like, wow, suddenly come alive, that kind of thing. That's really amazing. And that's what I had in my mind. Thanks. Isaiah, is there something that you'd like to share with us on solutions,
Yeah, I just want to
programs?
fish in on that conversation just now. So I think many years back, I was looking at doing this activity program called Conductor Size. And I remember I was in a daycare center as well, and there was this uncle that the nurses said, just leave him alone. Let's sit down there on his own. Just focus on these 10 other uncles and aunties. And when the music played, you can see the uncle sitting down there. Though he's just looking at the floor, looked like he's dazed, he's not there, but his legs were tapping to the rhythm of the music, right? And it was the first time he's hearing that piece of classical music. And yeah, so that really shows that music does really stir people up, and even people with dementia, advanced dementia, right, can still really move and kind of groove and to the beat on time, right? So that's really interesting. There's a lot of potential still left in older people. If we can see it on our side for ProAge, I think there are so many different projects that we have done. But I think the one that's most nostalgic for me is the National Breezewalking campaign. Yeah, so I mean, a Breezewalking campaign, working in the government, just setting up all these Breezewalking clubs, hundreds of them all across Singapore, getting Singapore to walk every week, every month. I mean, to me, it was nostalgic because we got down there onto the ground with all the makcik and all the auntie and even family members coming together. So seeing families walking, coming together. So it's not just about seniors, it's about their families as well. So I think that really caught on. And 2 years ago, I've pushed together for another charity called Go for Your Mountain. So we got seniors to climb Mount Faber because we have discovered that you can build muscles and reverse frailty. So why not show that you have dreams, you dare to dream. And we found that dreams were the key to unlocking many seniors' minds in terms of their mindset, that they have so much more to give. And we challenge seniors to dream with their families and to climb Mount Faber. And so many of them, they came from nursing homes. They were on walking frames and stuff. And they trained 3 months to climb up Mount Faber. And many of them made it to the top of the summit. And that to me was breathtaking. And it goes to show that there's so much more that needs to be done for older people. And in society, not only in Singapore, but a whole around this region as well. Yeah.
It's quite exciting to know that we should try all sorts of modalities, all sorts of tools and all that, and we shouldn't limit ourselves, to say that only these things can work and can be used for our seniors or older persons. I believe that you guys are saying try anything and try everything, right? To get them engaged, to get them involved, or get them living better, right, and aging well in that sense. All right, thanks guys. I'm gonna go over to the Q&A section. There's quite a few questions here. There's like over 12 questions that I'm seeing here. There are 2 questions that are asking for top 3s. So maybe we do this like a quick fire kind of thing, all right? So you just need to say the top 3 things of something, okay? You guys understand?
Top 3.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you what the top 3 lah. Okay, the first question is asking, what are the top 3 needs for seniors in the Singapore landscape? So, top 3 things.
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right.
I think the first thing is to be able to still contribute and contribute as long as possible. So I mean, contribution, work longevity. I think that's what people want. Just really sense of feeling useful for their whole life. I think that's number 1. Number 2 is isolation. How do we connect seniors and them feeling not alone? And loneliness kills, and that's really evidence-based. Number 3 is then how do I stay physically and mentally healthy for life? So I mean those are the 3 things that underpins all that I do as well. So those are my top 3 things that seniors are concerned about.
All right, thanks Isaiah. Over to ladies.
I think social isolation, like what Isaiah was saying, is really, really important. I did a few on the ground kind of sessions with seniors who are living alone, also people who are homeless, for example. And I thought that was something that's really, really number 1 for me. Number 2, I think being able to, kind of like shift their mindset and to think about what they like and what they dislike so that they can actually cater to meet their own needs and, find solutions available for them out there. I think being able to do what they like would kind of spur them towards, discovering more things, identifying things that they like and kind of pursuing their different interests. And I think thirdly, what's really important also is ensuring that, you have kind of like a whole connectivity within the ecosystem. Not only just within like your own groups of friends, for example, but also if you need help for like if you have maybe some of seniors may have depression, for example, then you have avenues to look for like in terms of these kind of interventions. Or if you need like physiotherapy, for example, then different avenues you can also approach. So I think what's really important also is knowledge, knowing what's available out there so that you can actually seek the right interventions and bring you throughout your entire life.
Okay. Nice, thanks. Joanne, any thoughts?
All right, for me, I would like to streamline this question to this pandemic period, instead, if that is fine with with you guys. So I think that the top 3 things that our older people are looking at that is, I guess, important for them during this period is, firstly, the connectivity. Where to get the right support, who to ask for help if they need to, what should they be looking for, that connectivity with the community, with their family, okay? The second thing is, of course, rightfully so, social isolation. We had a talk with South Foundation previously, and we had this older adult who made a feedback, or who made a comment at the end of the session. She said that to everyone out there, just spend 10 minutes each day to talk to your family, to have a small chat, just 10 minutes a day, and the older adults will feel very happy, and that's where they think that they will be feeling, you know, that kind of family bliss. So during this period, because of COVID, families, friends, we are all really very isolated. So that kind of, I guess, social, that feeling of being with your family, talking to them is really very important to them. So that's the second thing that I think the elders would really want from this period. And the third thing that I think would be to be able to have, you know, like active aging, to be able to age actively and then healthily, of course, and independently. Because as we move along the way, there are a lot of, I guess, external, internal factors that affect how we will progress during this period. So how they are well supported during this period is actually very important.
Great, thank you. All right, so here's the other top 3 things that you need to think about. Another question that came in is, what are the 3 problems that aging is causing society? You guys got that? Okay, give you a few seconds to think about that.
I think when it comes to how people perceive aging, right, they would think that, okay, especially from my grandparents' generation or my grandma's generation, they would think that, you know, after a certain age, I want to retire and then I want to go and chill, right? Whereas, like, you know, a job is something that's very important because it can not only give you purpose, it can also, you know, gives you that sense of connectivity to within your network and also build your social network. So I think having the first thing would be more of like how people perceive aging, because a lot of times they would kind of like stop working after a while, but this is something that's very important. So I think if we have a mindset shift to like, you know, I would like to work because it's something that's meaningful and purposeful and it's something I enjoy, it doesn't become a job, it becomes like a sense of purpose. I think that would be something that we can actually tweak with like aging right now. Secondly, I would think is when it comes to all these kind of solutions, I think like I mentioned in one of the previous questions that you asked as well, is kind of like having all of these solutions available for them, right? So I think they don't really have a lot of a wide variety of tools yet at this point. I think a lot of the products are still emerging and a lot of people are doing like, you know, clinical research, for example. So they are not yet out widespread within the market. So there's a very limited variety of things that they still do. Also, like the mindset in terms of like aging, like I see my grandparents doing this. It's like, you know, I would just go home. I don't really ride bicycles, you know, I don't go rollerblading, this kind of stuff. But I do see these kind of things happening in the UK, for example, where people are like 60 and 70, they're still very active and it's just a normal part of their life. So I think if we could actually tweak that, that would bring a lot of more activity and not only good for the health aspect, like what Isaiah was sharing about, I think that will also give them more accessibility to different things that they would like to do. So far, I can think of 2 lah. So.
It's all right. All right, maybe hear from Isaiah and Joanne. Any thoughts on problems aging bring to society?
Yeah, I largely don't like how the question is framed.
Okay.
Usually I'll ask what opportunities are there in
Actually,
aging
I'm with
and
Isaiah
All
on
right.
that.
yeah,
Happy to hear that,
because-
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, because when we define as a problem, then it's a zero-sum game. Like, it's like, how do we mitigate it? How do we prevent it? You know, then we fail to see the possibilities. Definitely, we need to be real about it. There are issues, right? There's there's issues with growing up as well. I mean, having baby, growing up, they're all issues, right? But it's how we deal with it. So if you want to ask me, like, what are possible issues that will come when someone grows older? Of course, there's a challenge of looking at decline. decline is there. You start declining at 30 years old, right? So it's how much you decline, which is the key thing that they're looking at. Yeah. So and then of course there's finances that people would look at, but I won't call it as a problem because it's something that not everyone would face, and if you take kind of preventive action, you start to plan and work at it, and you're not experienced that. So I don't think there's a broad stroke kind of like problem because of aging. However, I think there are issues that in terms of perception that will really impede us, that will cause a problem. So if you want a problem on your hands, and then that's when you have that wrong perception of how aging, how you approach it, that becomes a problem for the individual, right? So science has shown, I think from Yale University, Dr. Levy says that they did a research on this. If you are 20, 30 years old, how you think about aging right now, about old people, will impact how you individually will age. So if you think that, when now Ama is like really old and very frail and it's very, very bad, old is very, very bad. When you come 65, 70 years old, that will be a reality. So that has been proven in science. So then that's where, to me, it's about perception, and so I think that's what I think we can tackle as we go along, and a lot of the work that we do in ProAge, showing how we can reverse it, how we can really enable and transform lives, is really tackling at that very perception, and to tell people that there is hope. And there is hope, and there's so much more when you grow old. And similar to right now, like working from home, people can say it's bad, but I mean, companies are doing like co-working, they have different working environment, going for extended lunch and stuff like that. It's so different right now, and some people like it. So I think that's the perception is key. Yeah.
Yeah. I like what you mentioned about the vicious cycle, the mindset, that perpetuates itself. It's very interesting. Thanks, Isaiah. Joanne?
I think for me, Isaiah and Cassandra echoes what I had in mind as well. It's a lot about the perception and how people perceive what they should and should not do. But I think one of I would say a challenge, I won't say it's a problem as well, but a challenge is getting the older people to adoption, like adoption of the right services, adoption of technology. How do we encourage them to adopt like maybe technologies or innovations to better equip themselves during their journey, during this period of their journey. So perception definitely is a challenge that I think probably not just in Singapore, but in Asia context, it happens. So like, for example, when we go on our overseas learning trips to Europe, to US, the caregivers there, they address their residents by their name. But over here, I think in Asia, we call Akong, Ama.
Everybody is
it is very endearing, I must say, that for someone to call you that. But what we learned is that from our overseas counterpart is that by addressing the residents or the older people by their names, say Mr. Brown, Mr. Irwin, you make them feel empowered.
Yes.
You make them feel that they are still themselves.
Yep.
This sense of belonging about who they really is. So it kind of like I would say puts in the perception for the older people, the residents, that they are still who they are. Yeah.
I feel that name calling gives that sense of dignity
Exactly.
to that person, and the relationship between the carer, the old age home carer and the
But of course,
person
I
is
have
different.
to stress that maybe in the Asia context, it's very endearing and very respectful if you call Ama, or Akong.
call Ape Irwin, that kind of thing.
Actually, in like St. Joseph's Home, for example, I've seen really good practices there. So they were like, I had a mini study with them in the past, and then we would go down and be like, oh, Auntie Teresa, what are you doing today? Or Uncle Hong, 你今天要吃什么啊？这种东西. So you have this kind of, you still have that level of respect, because I think in Singapore the culture is also quite different. So we do have we call them Akong Ama out of respect for them. But then they also add on a personalization. So I think we are actually now very much for person-centered care, and I think this is something that we can also customize, not only from name calling, but also during the whole process of maybe rehabilitation or different activities that you incorporate. Yeah.
I totally agree with Cassandra. Like person-centered care right now is really the way forward. A lot of people probably think that technology is here to replace that
right.
person-centered, but it's really not true. Because exactly, it enhances,
Nice.
it helps with the productivity and workflow for our care team so that they have more time to really have that connection, to talk to the elders and make them feel connected. Yeah, so person-centered care, it is still here. It is not living. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't just leave my old folks with a Siri or Alexa and just keep them talking to them.
You could if you want to.
I have seen some devices like that, and I thought it was just difficult lah.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Yeah, I've seen those robot kind of thing that tries to
But
be
innovations
buddy.
are really great, like fun rehabilitation, like what Cassandra is doing, and all. This really helps the older people in having the right rehabilitation, still having fun while doing rehabilitation. You know, it really aids and supports their journey.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone. In the interest of time, we've got to stop the questions here. So, but if you still want to get your questions answered by our speakers, later on there's the LinkedIn profiles that you can connect with them and continue the conversation with our panelists as well. So as we end off, I just want to throw one last question to our panelists is what's next? What's in the future for you and your social enterprise, right? How you guys are looking forward to the next leg for the different kind of aging? Isaiah, maybe you'd like to share a bit? What's next? What's ahead?
All right. For us, it's 3 different goals. One is go deep. So it's really going deeper, not just going shallow with every individual, going deep. So looking to see how we can really improve different health outcomes, different outcomes that people are looking at. Number 2 is really going for the ecosystem. So how can you work with more different partners to create, as Cassandra said, that kind of network to support people through different life stages. And the lastly is go digital. For us, it's really, at the end of the day, digital is key in engaging people, and as we mentioned, complementing the things that we currently do. So we are building a platform that will go out there into companies and into communities, and we really hope to be able to drive employment for seniors that way as well, and to be able to reach seniors around Singapore, not just in Singapore. So I think that's where we are heading up, and yeah.
Thanks, Isaiah. Quite exciting. Joanne, Cassandra, what's next?
Okay, for us at Aging Asia, we hope to drive more discussions about where what lies next ahead for the aging demographic in Asia Pacific. We hope to bring more, sustainable and successful stories, case studies that our Asia counterpart could learn from, and then adapt at the best of their own cultural and location context. So we want to share more of this knowledge, these insights to everyone who would like to, want to improve the quality of living for the elders in Asia Pacific, because there are really a lot of very interesting perspectives, innovation out there, and that's what we hope to do, to know them, to be aware of them, to curate them, and then to bring them to our Asia friends. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I think for us, we are pretty much going towards more of clinical trials. So ensuring that the products that we actually do has that scientific validity and tested within a powered, like a reasonable size of a population group. So that's the first key thing. Secondly, it will be the outreach towards the different nursing homes, care centers, and also even everyday seniors at home, providing all of these solutions for them, and kind of like bringing them towards identifying, whether they might need certain help in certain areas, and then taking action to work on those. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I wish all of you the best in the journey ahead, and we're definitely going to keep a close eye onto all 3 of you so that we can share more with our social enterprise community about what you're doing, and even for those outside of our community as well. And for those joining us on Zoom, please help me to thank our speakers. They've been wonderful, and I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Isaiah as well, all the way across the internet. We wish you were here, but we understand. So thank you again,
yes,
and we hope to meet up in person one of these days.
Yep.
Race has quite a few programs and opportunities that we hope that you can come and join us as well. Even for those out there who are listening in, do join up with Race. Come on to our website. You can check out some of the activities we have as a social entrepreneur, how to get a social enterprise going. We've got all that, and we definitely love to have a conversation with you if you're interested to share more about your ideas and desire, right, to help make aging different. All right, so thank you, speakers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, and once again, as I mentioned, if you wish to connect with any of our panelists, you can reach out to them on their LinkedIn profiles, which our team will be sending a link up in the chat for you to connect with them. Do also check out the Festival for Good 2020 virtual website. There's lots of things going on. We're actually in the last few days. I think it's one more week before we kind of wrap things up. So it's your last chance to go shopping, to check out all the other interesting things that our social enterprises have in terms of products and services that are out there as well. All right. So in fact, this Sunday, we're actually having a finale ceremony with our guest of honor, Ms. Sun Xieling, the Minister of State, Ministry of Social and Family Development, and Ministry of Education. So if you can, do join us over Zoom. There's an interesting a segment where we're going to talk about the top 5 SEs as voted by our festival goers. There's also going to be a premiere of a movie, right? So that's also something interesting on this session as well. So we thank you again, and we wish you all the best. Do take care, and we'll see you around soon. Thank you.